Welcome to the Unstoppable Business Podcast. Dive into top business trends, ideas, and tips to help you run a better business. Let's jump right in today with your host, Arun Mehra. Right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this webinar. And this is part of my autumn series of webinars, which I'm doing, kind of aimed predominantly at the Indian accountants and Indian CA firms. And today's topic is an interesting one. It's all about what do international firms want from Indian chartered accountants. So what do they want? Now, I'm based here in the UK in London, and I run my own CA accountancy firm here. And I can wear my hat with that kind of view on. My viewpoint will come from that kind of angle. And my thought process is very clear. And I'm going to keep this webinar relatively short, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, because I know everyone's very busy at this time of year. But international firms, now me as an accountant sitting here, if I was using a third-party firm, which I have in the past, I've used other offshoring and outsourcing firms in the past. The most important thing I want is honesty and trust. Now, how do I find that trust? How do I find that individual? How do I know that the accounting firm or the offshoring firm is going to do a good job for me? Well, first indication will be maybe an introduction or a referral from someone else, or I might check out their website, or I might see their content online, like videos or articles that they've written. All of that helps me build a picture, because I want to know that I trust them with the valuable data and information that I'm sending across. So really, really important thing is they want to know that they can trust your firm, trust your CA firm. Then I suppose the other really important point is they want to make sure that, and this ties in with trust, they want to make sure that you can actually deliver on the work that you're suggesting you can do. Now, it's a real danger is that people will say, yeah, I can do the work, and say, I'll do it and get the work done. But then when it comes to reality, they don't have the manpower or the infrastructure to deliver the work in a timely manner and get it done properly. So very, very important you look at that and kind of make sure that you can deliver the work, because otherwise, if you can't deliver the work, it'll be a failure, and therefore you'll lose that client very, very quickly. I suppose the other thing then people, and this is perhaps a perception of people in India as opposed to the people in the UK, US and other places. Of course, everyone wants to get a good deal. Of course, everyone wants to get a lower price. That goes probably hand in hand. But what people want here in the West, certainly and the international clients want, they don't necessarily want the cheapest. They just want to make sure that the job is done well and it's done quickly and efficiently. So if that means the price is higher, they'll probably happily pay it. And that's the big differentiation. I think they appreciate that to do a good job takes hiring good people, which takes paying people fair and reasonable wages and salaries. You only attract the best talent if you can pay for the best talent and get the right talent. And I think that's something that people miss quite often in India. So I'd really strongly encourage you to start thinking about, rather than paying for the lowest cost, actually paying for staff members who are really good. Because if you pay for really good staff members or team members, they'll deliver really good work, okay? And therefore the client will be happy, and then the client will refer and you'll get more work. So you got to invert the messaging and invert the story. You want the best talent, so you need to make sure you hire the best talent, and therefore you deliver the best job, and there you get more referrals. I guess in addition, another area which is really important is that your team are approachable, they're friendly, they're happy to have a chat about the football or cricket online. They're just welcoming. And now a lot of the work is done remotely via Teams or Zoom or whatever it might be. But at some point in the future, you might actually visit them, or they might visit you. And they want to feel that they're welcomed, and that that's a large part of building that trust. So I think that's a really important element in this whole kind of process, is that your team are friendly, approachable, and ultimately have a great attitude. Not a good attitude, but a great attitude. So they're always willing to help, always willing to get their teeth stuck in, and always willing to deliver a quality service and a quality product. I think they also want to, and I get this goes back to the whole point. If you hire the right people and have the right team members, you'll have to pay them well. And I think a big important aspect here from the West is that people want to make sure that the team that they've got in India or wherever are being remunerated well, being paid well, and their kind of competitive salaries in the marketplace. The last thing they want to do is see that their team members are unhappy because they haven't got the right salary, the right pay. Because if they're getting the right pay, then they'll be sure that the team will be stable. If the team is stable, they'll get a better result, and they'll get ultimately a better quality product as well. So all of these things really, really matter in the scheme of things, and I would encourage you to really kind of focus on that. But if I had to look at one of the big areas, and we've covered honesty, we've kind of covered pricing, we've kind of covered capability and attitude of the people and the friendliness of people, and that the team are treated well. But one thing that 99% of offshoring firms get wrong, and this is where I think an international firm would really want right, is the communication. It doesn't matter if you have an accent, that's irrelevant, okay? It's about the communication. Accent is only a tiny bit of it. The real communication is all about the rapport and the delivery on time and the soft skills that your team display, the listening skills, the leadership skills, the people skills. And that's what they want to know, that you can communicate well with them, they can communicate easily with you, and you can take feedback, they can take feedback, and you work as a team. Now, you might be thousands of miles away sitting in India, and they may be over here, but what they want is that open communication. They can pick up the phone or do your Teams call and question things, ask questions, and get things done. And I think that's a really important element of this whole thing that you have to get right. Because I've seen too many Indian offshoring firms get this completely wrong. Excuse me. So really, really focus on that side of things, the communication, because that will stand you out amongst other firms, other organizations trying to do this. And as my firm, we focus on communication. I think that's our primary focus, so that we deliver, we do things on time. And when I say communication, it's not just written communication, it's verbal communication, it's online communication, it's body language communication, it's the tone of voice communication, it's the what you say communication. All of these things matter. And I think that's really an area that what international firms want, because because if you get the communication right, what I said right at the beginning, that honesty and trust will come. Because if you can communicate well between each other, trust gets easier to build and trust gets stronger. And remember, we are in the trust game. We are selling trust. And if we can communicate better, the perception of our trust will improve, and then the client will be happy. So kind of run through a bunch of points here. These are the things I personally feel that international firms want. Trust and honesty, great communication, team members that are stable and who have great communication, who are friendly and hungry, and who are being remunerated well, and ultimately good delivery. Okay, and a fair price. Doesn't necessarily have to be the cheapest, just a fair price in the scheme of things. So kept it very brief, 8-9 minute kind of monologue of me talking. If there's anyone who's got any questions on this topic, by all means, please do raise them today, or drop me a message. Happy to discuss these types of things. But I'm going to keep this short today because I know it's an odd day today and not many people are working on this area today. But thank you so much. And if you've got any questions, just give me a shout right now. If not, I will leave you to it. Thanks very much. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for another episode of the Unstoppable Business Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it today, and please do share us on social media and make sure you do subscribe. Thank you very much.